welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. Bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Streaming live on the Foundation Podcast YouTube channel, here's Nick and Matt.
Awesome. So you already traveled. Did you go overnight or did you leave this morning?
I went overnight. I actually had work 9 a.m. this morning, so I just drove all night and showed up to work right when I got there. Hyped up on caffeine, and yeah.
That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did too. That's awesome.
You guys are, okay, you're crazy, but the disc golf touring life, that is what it used to always be about. And obviously, and I'm going to say obviously, but for players that are unheard of in my neck of the woods, Aaron Gossage, we want to get to know you. That seems like more of a reality. However, if you keep doing performances like that, then you'll probably be flying back or not needing to have another job. But let's talk about it. So literally, I don't know very much about you besides what I saw on the tournament coverage this weekend. Can you tell us, like, where did your disc golf game come from? Like, how long ago did you start? And has it been developing to this point for a long time, or did this come out of nowhere? Just tell us a little bit about your game.
Yeah, so I'm a Colorado guy, and for some reason, Colorado guys just seem to throw far. So my game has always been just throw it as far as I can and hopefully get close to the basket. For so long, I just really struggled on the putting green. And this tournament and Jonesboro, my putting really came together, made a lot of circle one putts, and that's what got me there on the second and lead card there at the end. So my drives always seem to be very consistent, getting myself in position. It's just whether I can connect on the putts.
So let me see here. I got to pull it back up. It's somewhere here on my screen. My show notes. You're shooting above your average rating by 36 points. Is that something you expected? Like you knew it was just building up and ready to burst out like that? Or what did you think of your performance this past weekend?
So I've definitely been feeling it coming. I've been putting in a lot of work, especially on the putting green for sure. This weekend, I didn't honestly feel it coming. I was questioning whether I should go to this tournament. You know, it's a long drive just to go down one night and then have to come back for work.
You scroll down.
So yeah, I didn't know this was going to happen. I was hoping to shoot, a couple under par each round. But when I got to the course, ball golf courses really suit my play style. And I just knew that I was going to shred it off the tee. It's just a matter of whether I can make my putts.
Nice. And so golf style courses, you say, are more your cup of tea. Do you guys have those out in Colorado a lot? Because I know it's more mountainous out there. Is that something that you've practiced on, or?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of ball golf courses out here. I would say, like you said, it's very mountainous, but definitely played a lot of tournaments on ball golf courses. And yeah, I've always excelled at them. I'm not really sure why. I usually don't throw too many rollers. But definitely, you saw in the second round, I think I only threw one roller off the tee. But I watched James throw so many that I couldn't help myself the last round. There's just a few holes I feel like I could attack if I had another 50 feet of distance. So that's kind of what the roller accomplishes.
Yep. And so I'm seeing a lot in the chat, and I'm kind of seeing, questions that people have asked me, but they're saying you're an unsponsored pro.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I put in some applications and stuff past year, but disc golf's just been growing so much that all the companies seem to be full with their teams and everything. But yeah, I've just been kind of keeping my options open, and yeah, happy to be here. The sponsorship thing isn't holding me back. I decided to just go for it and see how the year ended up.
No, exactly. I mean, I think if with a mixed bag, you're able to try every best disc from every great company. And I think a lot of people kind of need to realize that, and it's good to get your name out there, good to get applications out there, but you can see it with Aaron in this past weekend, a mixed bag, and he's still playing incredible out there. And he's able to do this. And, you said, what are you doing for a full-time job that's allowing you to get out to a couple of these big events this year?
So I really do have to give a shout out to my work. I work at the bike shop here in Grand Junction, Colorado as a bike mechanic, bicycle mechanic. My bosses have been really cool. I asked them if that I could have this opportunity, take some time off work, go and see what I can do out there on the biggest stage. And they've been really flexible with me. They give me all the time off that I asked for. And unfortunately, it was my fault today. I forgot to ask for this Monday off. So that's why I had to drive all night to get to work. So big shout out to them. Makes a huge difference. Just knowing I've got a steady job back home and they're willing to work with me.
Definitely.
Awesome. Can you tell me, has anybody, well, it's been a long day for you, or night and day, 2 days. Has anybody reached out to you and said, hey, let's talk? Like as far as sponsorships go? No?
Yeah, I've just started to get a couple messages like that today. I haven't been thinking about it too much. Like I said, I'm running without like any sleep right now. So I figure I'm going to take a full night's rest and then worry about everything when that comes.
The two people I'm talking to, Aaron Gossage and Nick Carl, have both 0 sleep since yesterday. What's going on? All right. So can you tell us a little bit about your game? You mentioned some of how your performance was. What would you say your strong suit is? You said throwing far you can do, but what's a strong suit that you feel like?
Honestly, yeah, just my long distance flyers. I'm really confident in my backhand, throwing a long ways, I suppose. And then I'm super confident with my forehand for anything from like 200 to 400 feet. I'm throwing like a zone. I feel super confident getting my zone up and down, making birdies, saving pars. And my tee shots, that definitely, especially that last round, I was really confident in all my forehands, and it made a big difference.
So you mentioned that you only threw 1 roller in the final round, and I did watch. No, you said second round?
In the second round, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I watched it, and I was like thinking that number was off. And the second round, that's when you shot 11 down. Do you feel like, obviously it can be done. Why do you think so many of the players defaulted to the roller? Is it because that's their strength and not yours? Or what did you feel like? Was that your game plan and you just stuck to it?
I've always kind of had this philosophy of the more rollers I throw, the less consistent my round's going to be. If I can keep the shot in the air, then I'm going to know exactly what it's going to do. On a lot of these holes, you just need distance. You don't really need placement that much. So that's why the roller comes out a little bit more. That second round, honestly, it just comes down to the putting. I could have shot basically the same round that last round if I just made a few more putts. I could tell on the camera. I was just rushing myself a little bit. I had the same problem before when I get a little bit nervous in tournaments. And first time on the lead card, and I'm not too surprised that I had those nerves going.
Yeah, I like that. You can kind of, admit to something that, because I was going to ask you, what is it like playing on the lead card at a Pro Tour event? You're obviously playing with a couple of the best players in the world, some of the furthest throwers in the game. And there's obviously that added pressure. And then, you're representing the Colorado scene. You're representing friends and family from back home. So at that moment, you're on camera now. You said you feel more rushed. Is that something that you've dealt with before on lead cards back home?
Yeah. So I played a few tournaments against Joe Revere. He's kind of a local legend in Colorado.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's one of those guys I've kind of always idolized. So every time I get on a final card with him, I just get super nervous because I don't want to like mess up, and I want to put out a good showing. And I had that same kind of feeling yesterday with those top guys, which strangely enough, I didn't have that feeling second round. I played a C tier 2 with Barella and Hamas. And James is just a really cool guy, nice and relaxed. So it just felt like another day in the park.
It sounded like you were going to say something.
Yeah, we're taking deep breaths
together. Sorry.
No. We're looking at me and Matt are, going back and forth with each other.
I'm like, did Nick just fall asleep over there? Okay. That's funny. I'm not used to having him back in studio. Sorry, Aaron. This is not how it usually goes. So talk a little bit about your... You mentioned nerves, and you just, like Nick said, you just came out and said it. These players that you got to play with, how much of a fan are you of them, and then finding yourself playing with them? Or do you feel like what is that like?
It's a really cool experience. You watch these guys on TV, and they're amazing. They throw such great shots that you can't like imagine yourself on the same stage as them. But it was really kind of an eye-opener. I definitely came out that last round, and I was throwing tee shots just as good as anyone else, felt like. I was just rushing my putts a little bit. So I played my dad played a round with Ricky once where he just didn't miss a single putt the entire round. So that's kind of what I was expecting going into that round. And then Eagle was just business all day. So it was impressive to watch him just go out and slay it there.
Have you competed with Eagle locally in the Colorado scene?
Yeah, so that's kind of cool.
Yep.
I used to play junior tournaments against him back 2008, 2009, and yeah, he's always beat me. So I'm not sure I've ever beat him in a tournament before. But it's cool to be on
Nice.
the lead card together at a Pro Tour event. So it's been a
Wow.
lot of fun.
That is really
Yeah.
cool. I'm thinking at some point, I might say that. Well, no, I'll never be on tour. But let's move into that part of this. So you hit up this event. How many other pro tours or national tours or other large events do you plan to hit up this year?
So I am kind of up there in the Pro Tour points. So I decided I'm just going to go out for everything in the Pro Tour this year. I've missed a Silver Series or two, just because they added a couple and I didn't have the time off work. So that's just kind of the way it goes. But I'm going to try to finish the season strong, get all the Pro Tour events in, and as many national tour events as I can as well. It's just kind of going all out this year and seeing where it takes me.
Do you feel like in the future you could see yourself, let's say 2 years from now, in a converted van traveling the country trying to make a living off this?
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know for sure what the future holds, definitely, but I just graduated with a computer science degree.
Very
And
cool.
it'd be really nice to find some kind of job that I could work remotely out of a van.
Yep.
So I have a little bit of steady income, and then I can do the disc golf and not worry about it,
That sounds like the life. Consistent paycheck and disc golf on the weekends.
What's amazing is, and I'll shout out, running it with Nate Sexton, a very large podcast nowadays. Shout out to Jarrett from Buffalo and Nate Sexton, of course. They've been talking to people who have pioneered the sport a lot. And I was just thinking to myself, like, go back to like 2000, in the beginning of 2000s, right? 2003, 2004, 5, all that. Like, it wasn't even really a real reality for people. They had to like literally scrape by. Whereas you perform well, Aaron, sponsor comes out, they start supporting you. You perform well, you make money. It's an amazing opportunity. So you're hitting up the Pro Tour events. That means Maple Hill. Will you get to see Maple Hill? Have you ever been out there before?
Yeah, I've never been out there before, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a long drive, but I'm used to that at this point.
The reason
I'm just
Yeah, I was going to say, the reason I bring that up is because Nick and Matt show, where we're sitting right now, is in Leicester, Massachusetts. That's our course. So we're excited to see you come out.
That's awesome. Honestly, it's one of the best parts about the touring is that I just get to play all these amazing courses across the country. And I really enjoy playing new stuff, getting to try new shots.
No doubt. No doubt. Do you have a preference on like what kind of course you play? So obviously you have a big distance, you have everything like that, but do you like more woods golf or do you kind of enjoy that more openness?
So it's kind of funky. I do enjoy the woods golf. Like going to Waco, I really enjoy playing all those wooded holes on there, but I don't do well. So that's just kind of what I've seen so far. All the tight wooded courses, I've really struggled, and on the open bomber holes, I've really excelled. So I wouldn't say I necessarily dislike those courses. I think they're lots of fun to play. They just eat my lunch.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
Yeah. So okay, I'm trying to think here. You mentioned, so what was it like being? You talked about being a little bit nervous playing with these players, but like having all these cameras around you, were they distracting to you?
I was really impressed. I never really had that many cameras around, and I thought it would distract me. But everyone was so good; they just they stood in their position, they held perfectly still, and I barely noticed the cameras at all. The biggest thing is that every now and then I'd have a thought creep into my head that I'm like, "Oh, I've got all these friends and family back home watching. I can't mess up here," and put a little extra pressure on myself. But yeah, cameramen were great. I didn't have any problems there.
So tell us about this. Do you have fans back home that were cheering you on? What was social media like after your second round performance specifically?
Yeah, it was amazing. There were quite a few like watch parties. It looked almost like a Super Bowl party or something like that. Bunch of friends just had these groups. They're all sitting around the TV cheering for me. So honestly, a great experience. I love all the support I've been getting from the Grand Valley. The guys back here are great, and yeah, big shout out to them. It's been awesome.
Peace out.
The Nick and Matt Show, a disc golf podcast designed for you, the disc golfer. Find the Nick and Matt Show on your favorite podcast platforms or stream us live exclusively on the Foundation Podcast's YouTube channel.